This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Business podcast. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk with business professionals about ProVisors. ProVisors is a professional networking organization designed for experienced business leaders and trusted advisors to build relationships, share referrals, and collaborate for mutual success. In studio with us today is Sarah Ramirez, the president of Armand Financial. Sarah has more than 15 years of experience in retirement and wealth management. Sarah, excited to have you here with me today.
Hey, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
You come very, very well recommended. You've got a good group of people around you, and I know you're starting your own ProVisors group, so I'm excited to learn a lot more about what you got going on. I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas administrative assistants for insurance agents and attorneys who need help with administrative tasks. If you're curious about the most common tasks that virtual assistants are doing for businesses, head over to our website at krukus.com and grab a list of our top 20 tasks that VAs are doing for businesses like yours. Link is in the podcast description. A quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media, where you can catch video versions of the show. You can get to everything easily from our website at satalkradio.com. All right, Sarah, so you look very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your business background and how you ended up at ProVisors.
Sure. So my background goes back to 2008. I went to college in San Antonio, UTSA, go Roadrunners. Started my career 2008 with New York Life. Developed my business from there. In 2018, I decided to go off on my own and create Armand Financial and Insurance Solutions. It's interesting. The name is actually my middle name. It's my grandmother's maiden name, and it means warrior champion. So when determining the name of my business, I really wanted it to mean a lot and mean something to my background. So basically, it's an ode to the women in my family. My great-grandmother was pioneer in her time. She actually ran her own general store. She butchered her own meats in a very small town in Louisiana. My grandmother was one of the first hospital administrators in her time. And my mother is a very successful business owner. So I wanted it to be kind of a remembrance of them and how amazing they are and the strong women in my family. So the ideas with the business is to walk alongside my clients, be a champion for them, help build their confidence in their financial and wealth strategies, and really get them to feel good about what they're trying to do. I think we're all trying to work just as hard to get to retirement and get to an ending, a positive, retirement. And a lot of people are unsure which way to go. And so what I've been focusing on is working mostly with women and women-driven conversations. Most of the time, husband and wife, the women are typically the ones that are driving the spouse to the meeting. We end up having really great conversations, and educating women on the financial background is really important, because a lot of the times they're unsure, they're not confident in learning more about retirement and where their money's going. So my job is to really try to add more confidence so they feel good about what they're doing. And, they're not just leaving it to their spouse to make all the decisions.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to ask what your ideal client profile is, but I'm guessing it's more in the women area. What else?
Yeah, I don't like to discriminate. Sure. I have a lot of male clients as well, but typically it is more of the business owner or higher executive female who they have it all together, and everywhere else they have it all together with their business and their home life, but they're unsure about what they're doing with their finances. Do I have enough for retirement? Am I putting away enough? A lot of people are just unsure. Most of us are really good at what we do, but 9 times out of 10, we're not that great when it comes to the financial side, and they don't want to share that with you. And so one thing that I think I'm very good at is making people feel comfortable, that they can be open and honest with me, that they're not really sure what certain things mean, or they don't feel very confident in their financial future. And so those are the kind of people that I like to work with, because they're strong, independent, they're successful in their own right, but they just need a little guidance. And I'm going to provide that stability and that safe space for them to get to where they're trying to achieve.
And what brought you to ProVisors? How did you discover ProVisors and then get involved and now becoming a group leader?
Yeah, so one of my colleagues out of California had told me about it, and she said it was an amazing organization, and they're huge in California. So I immediately looked it up. They didn't have any groups in San Antonio at the time. This was end of last year. So I was invited to go to an Austin group, and then the holidays came, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And then I spoke with Janae, our regional director. She told me about our new group that was starting, I think, in March of this year. So I jumped on it because I knew this was going to be a huge opportunity for San Antonio. And it's really funny because she told me, I think, yeah, we'll probably have about 3 groups in San Antonio max. I'm like, I don't think you understand San Antonio. Like, this is going to explode. So our first group was in March, and then they asked me to lead the second group, which I was super excited about. So we started in August of this year. We have about 7 members. We're in growth mode. Our next meeting is tomorrow, actually. And then we don't have another meeting until January. It's the 3rd Tuesday of every month, 7:30 a.m. I'm sure you'll ask for more details later.
For sure.
Yeah.
And how people can find that and everything else. So, but tell me about your experience with as a member when you were first part of the Austin. Did you join the Austin group or just Steve's group straight out?
No, I just joined Steve's group in San Antonio, SA1. What I like about it is they do the vetting for you. So, I'm a mom now, a mom of 2, and so we don't have a lot of time. I don't have time for happy hours and all these different networking groups. And so this organization, they vet out the members. You've got to have at least 10 years of experience in your field, 5 years of experience in your area, like San Antonio surrounding area. And I love that because I could just focus on people that knew what they were talking about. They're professionals, and I could trust them. And it's all about building that know, like, and trust. So I can offer more resources to my clients, and I don't have to do the vetting myself.
Yeah, you're not looking for another job when you join a referral group, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're like-minded individuals. It really does feel like a family, but it's a group of different types of advisors. So there's attorneys and CPAs. There's people like Terry with FranNet, you yourself. There's a lot of really great resources. So we get to learn from each other. We get to know what's going on in some of the hot topics in the industry. But ultimately, too, it's a safe place where I know that my clients are going to be taken care of when I send them to somebody in our group.
What about successes or what would you categorize as wins or whatever in your referral group experience so far with ProVisors?
One of the things that they say is you join ProVisors and you should not expect to get a referral or business right away within the first year. So I never go in expecting that off the bat, but I've already been introduced to some really great high-level people. Our first group has been wonderful in introducing me to other advisors to join my San Antonio 2 group. I've gotten a few opportunities for business as well. But really, it's those relationships and being able to be in the room with higher level individuals that are all solid, salt of the earth people that you can trust. So, I would say the success really has been the connections that we've made over the last 6, 7, 8 months, and that they've been able to bring even more people to my group as well, because we're all working as a team.
Now, it's a nationwide network, right?
Right.
Have you tapped into that for any kind of resources outside of San Antonio?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a friend who was looking to sell her business. And so it was a very specific industry that we were looking for. So it's not something that you could just find in a simple Google search. And you don't want to do that either. We're talking millions of dollars here. So I was able to put in the group, it's one of our channels, and it sends an email every Monday to the entire group. There's 10,000 members. So it sends an email every Monday and it says, I'm looking for a specific advisor. Maybe it's an M&A advisor or an attorney in this very specific area and state. And we get tons of responses. And the great thing is, if I didn't find the specific person, I was able to get multiple emails from other advisors that were going to refer me to someone that they knew. So maybe it wasn't anyone in the group, but the connection that we have is nationwide, which is phenomenal. It's a huge net that we can cast if we're looking for something very specific.
And responsive as well.
Absolutely. I got so many emails. I had to call and say, how do I get off of this list? Because I found what I needed. And it was every week I get a new wave of people saying, I can help you, or I know someone I can connect you to. So lots of opportunities, lots of connections all over the country. It's really how you work it and how you're trying to expand your own personal business.
Now, the opportunity for San Antonio, you're saying, is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm not from San Antonio originally, but I've been here since 2003, and I've seen the tremendous growth, especially on the business side. You know, it's one of the fastest growing cities, even surrounding San Antonio, like New Braunfels, where I live. Very fastest growing city. There's entrepreneurs. There's lots of different businesses that are moving here and expanding from California, expanding from even Austin. So I think that's booming. I think we're going to end up having even more groups than maybe the Austin area.
Now, have you done any business networking before joining ProVisors?
Oh yeah, I mean this is not a new game for me. I mean, right out the bat, I've been doing networking since I started my advising career. So I've been in multiple BNIs, the Young Professionals Group. I'm a part of the National Association of Women Business Owners. You know, lots of different types of networking out there. It just depends on the kind of market that you're looking for. I think over time, being in business for over 15 years now, you really start to learn what's the best avenue for you and the type of clientele that you're looking for. But I think there's tons of opportunity here, and there's still new things that are popping open. There's the Spurs Club and the Century Club. Lots of opportunity going on in San Antonio. It's a great time to be here.
And then how would you rank ProVisors in that? I mean, because you've been around the block. You mentioned BNI. I mean, it's different than ProVisors. How would you, obviously for you, as far as fit goes and benefits that ProVisors has?
Absolutely. I will say, you know, I was a part of 2 different BNI groups, and there was tremendous impact on my business starting out. And I think it also depends on, again, your market and the type of business that you're in. At this point in time, I think ProVisors for myself is really phenomenal because it brings this higher level to it. It's exclusive. It doesn't force you to give referrals. So it's not about pushing a referral. We meet once a month, but it's really about growing together and learning from each other. And that's what I try to do in our meetings is we spotlight a member every meeting. And the point is for us to learn more about their business, but also to educate ourselves on what's out there so we can better provide opportunities for our clients.
Now, you mentioned pushing referrals. So BNI is very much, you know, that way. You know, it's like it's all about referrals. People could argue, look, that's because we want to make sure that we're moving the needle when we're spending our time and our effort there. But you're saying that they're not so much about pushing referrals. It's more about building relationships. Would you say that that's just as effective, just as good a use of your time as opposed to something like BNI?
I think that you have to weigh the pros and cons, right? So I'm still connected in a BNI out of Houston. And so I'm not anti. I think what happens is if you're forced to give a name every week and you may not have that ability to do so, it might force people to not give a really solid lead. Versus if I want to introduce, maybe I don't have a client for you, Mark, but I have someone I want you to meet. I have another referral partner. So you have to learn how to think outside the box. But I think every year I do my business valuation and I review where am I spending my time and what am I getting out of that? Maybe I'm not getting a referral out of this group right away, but what I'm doing is I'm gaining valuable information. I'm able to provide some really solid referrals for my clients. And that right there just makes me look even better because I have even more resources I can provide.
No, I love that. And looking out for your clients and having trusted referral partners is a big deal. It's not as easy as maybe people think it is. Oh, I'm going to be a part of a BNI. But look, there's no minimum requirement of how long you've been doing business with BNI. So, I mean, they could literally have started the day before, whereas the ProVisors, they do have a litmus test there of 10 years.
Yes, and that's the thing, you know, that's the challenge with BNI too. And I remember going through this when I was brand new. I'm like, how am I going to send them referrals if my book of business is so small? And so I learned to think outside the box. So what I would do for BNI is I would anytime someone would present, I'd take pictures. I would promote them on my social media. I'd really try to just bring as many people value as possible, even if it wasn't an actual referral. I think now with this group, it's just slightly different. And it's more about education and supporting each other. But ultimately, also, we do already have a significant book of business. So we have a little bit more ability to refer people. But I think ultimately, when it comes to referrals can mean nothing if people don't know how to refer you. You know, they need to understand what is a good referral and what's the best way to refer someone to you versus just, hey, you should talk to so-and-so. And in my line of work, I get that a lot. A lot of the times I'll get referrals that are someone who's struggling financially or drowning in debt. And I mean, I can give them advice, but ultimately that's not the ideal client for me. So I have to really educate my referral partners on who are the best people to send my way. And you only have so much time in the day. And so that's one thing I love about ProVisors is they encourage you to do a troika, which I'm sure you guys have already spoken about on here. But I think the troika, it's a group, it means a group of 3. And so after every meeting, you get set up in a troika with 2 other people. And you're encouraged to go to lunch, coffee, drinks, whatever. And you're supposed to get to know each other a little bit better. And I think over time by doing that, you're learning more and more about that person. You're getting more of a visual idea of who's an ideal clientele. Something you shared earlier, I said, oh, I didn't think of that in regards to your line of work. So just getting to know somebody more opens up the possibilities and the opportunity and the outside thinking of ideal clients that you can send over to that individual.
Love that. All right, Sarah, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, I have an email, Sarah, SARAH, at armandfinancial.com. That's ARMAND. We also have a website, Armand Financial, as we're on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.